The Wicked Friend. In the village of Yumyuk, life was predictable. Each morning, the dew clung to the leaves like little beads of glass, and the sound of the Ekoro drum called farmers to their fields. My home was a sanctuary in this world. My wife, Adeobi, was the embodiment of grace, and our two children, Chizim and Kamsi, were my pride. The laughter of my family was the music of my life. Obina, my childhood friend, was practically a brother. We had grown up sharing everything: food, secrets, and dreams. When I married Adeobi, he celebrated with such fervor that the elders joked he was happier than I was. "Non-M," he often said, "your family is my family." I believed him, blind to the serpent coiled in his heart. It began innocently. Obina visited often, bearing gifts, bright wrappers for Adeobi, carved toys for the children, and bottles of palm wine for me. His laughter filled our compound, and his stories entertained the children. But there was something unsettling in the way his eyes lingered on Adeobi. "Your wife is not just beautiful," he would say, "she is a queen." I laughed then, thinking it was harmless flattery. But small cracks began to form. One night, Adeobi woke me, her voice trembling. "Chokudi, I heard someone calling my name," she whispered. It was a man's voice, deep and close, but no one was there. I dismissed it as her imagination, yet unease settled over me like a dark cloud. A few days later, Chisholm screamed in the middle of the night. When we rushed to her, she was trembling, her small body drenched in sweat. "A man was in my room," she cried. His eyes were red like fire. I searched the house with my machete, but the shadows were empty. The final straw came one evening when I returned from the market to find Obina and Adeobi sitting under the Udola tree. They were so engrossed in their conversation that they didn't notice me at first. His hand rested on hers, and her face looked strained, almost fearful. "Obina," I said, my voice sharp, "why are you here?" He turned, smiling that unsettling smile. "Oh, non-M, I came to check on your family." "Is that a crime?" That night, Adeobi was distant. She wouldn't meet my eyes, and when I asked what Obina had said, she claimed it was nothing. A week later, disaster struck. I returned from the stream to find the house eerily silent. Adeobi sat on the floor, her hands clutching her head. "They're gone," she sobbed. "Chisholm and Kamsi are gone." My heart stopped. I tore through the village, shouting their names. The neighbors helped me search, but there was no trace of them. It was as if the earth had swallowed my children whole. When I returned home, Obina was waiting. He sat cross-legged in the center of the compound, a blackened kola nut in his hand. "You should have protected them, Chokudi," he said, his voice calm and cold. "Where are they?" I roared, lunging at him with my machete. But before the blade could reach him, he vanished into thin air, leaving behind a chilling laugh and the faint smell of burnt herbs. Desperate, I sought out the village dibia, a man known for his wisdom and power. He listened intently as I poured out my story. His face darkened, and he shook his head. "Your friend is no ordinary man," he said. "He is an agent of the dark spirits, and he has claimed your family as payment for his allegiance." The dibia gave me a charm, a small bundle of herbs tied with red cloth, and warned me. "Do not seek him at night. His power is strongest then. Pray that the spirits show mercy." The nights became unbearable. The knocking started, slow, deliberate, as if mocking me. At first, I thought it was my imagination, but then I heard the whispers, low voices calling my name. Sometimes, I saw glowing red eyes watching me from the trees. The villagers began avoiding me, whispering that I was cursed. One morning, I found a blood-stained cloth tied to a stick near my doorstep. It was Kamsi's dress. I collapsed to my knees, my cries echoing through the empty compound. The realization struck me like lightning: I may never see my children again. I went to the dibia one last time, begging him to help me confront Obinna. He performed a ritual, smearing my forehead with white chalk and handing me a carved wooden staff. "This is your only protection," he said. "But remember, the spirits do not forgive easily." That night, I waited. The knocking came again, louder this time. Clutching the staff, I stepped outside. The air was heavy, the shadows alive with movement. And then I saw him, Obinna, standing under the udala tree, his eyes glowing red, his smile stretching unnaturally wide. "You came," he said, his voice reverberating like thunder. "But it's too late. Your family belongs to me now." I raised the staff, chanting the prayer the dibia had taught me. The shadows screamed, twisting and writhing as if in pain. Obinna's laughter turned into a roar of anger, and then he vanished, leaving behind silence. The next morning, the village was quiet, but my heart was heavy. My family was gone, taken by a man I once called brother. Now, I live alone, haunted by whispers and shadows. At night, the knocking returns, and I know it's only a matter of time before Obinna comes back for me.